So today we're going to talk about our entrepreneurship journey. That's what people want to know about. I don't even know where to begin on that.
Started with a long time ago.
Well, I'll say this. I've always wanted to be my own boss since I was a kid. I'll never forget going over basically affirmations with one of my uncles, and he told me, he was like, get out a piece of paper, because I want you to write this down. I said, okay. So he was like, right, I, Keaira Lashae, will be going to this college and getting paperwork, signing. I said, I'm not writing that because I'm not going to college. I don't want to go to college. I've never wanted to go to college. That's just me. That's just me. I'm not telling people not to go. What I'm saying is, for me, I've always known what I wanted to do. I feel like college is for people that, you need college, like doctors, and you need extra education, right? Lawyers and things like that. But I feel like college is also for, maybe sports, and also for people that don't necessarily know what they want to do, or they want to get trained to go in the work field, right? So for me, I've always known what I wanted. I've always wanted to be either an entertainer or an entrepreneur, and I'm both. I'm both, luckily. But he was just like, my uncle, I remember him just being like, you need to go to college and you need to get your education. And I was like, but what am I going to college for? For entrepreneurship, I feel like I need experience in that. And I feel like
now they have entrepreneurial classes.
Now they have it, but I feel like I needed to learn through experience. I worked at McDonald's when I was 14, and I'd never done well with authority. I remember my manager was like, you need to wear this hat. Put your hat on. I said, for what? It's not going to make my job better. It's not going to make me better at my job. And it's not going to make me worse at my job. It's not going to do anything. Like, it's going to mess up my hair. That's what it's going to do. And I don't want to put it on. And she was like, Keaira, you need to wear your hat. And I'm like, well, what's the point of the hat? It's a part of the uniform. But in the handbook, find in the handbook where I absolutely have to wear the hat to do my job. And she couldn't. So she couldn't find it. So I wore nothing on my head. You know what I'm saying? I've never done well with authority like that. So I always felt like entrepreneurship was for me. Plus, I just love being innovative. I love being creative. And I feel like sometimes, it depends on who you're working with. But those types of jobs, they don't allow you to be creative. They don't allow you to be, forward-thinking. Like,
it's not a creative or forward-thinking job.
I know, but a lot of jobs aren't.
Correct.
So I just felt like entrepreneurship was always for me. Like, I was always a hustler. I was always, since I was a kid, I would be braiding my teacher's hair for $20. Like, in the second grade, I remember braiding my teacher, Miss Scarpa, I think that was her name. She had this fiery red hair, and I was like, let me put your hair in like a nice French braid. You can pay me $20. And she did. And I don't know, I just always wanted to do my own thing, What about you?
I just wanted to be wealthy.
Mm-hmm.
Corporate America was never for me. Mm-hmm. My mom was in corporate America. And just keeping it real, college is a farm system for corporate America. All the career fields are for some form of corporate job. And I mean, that's the way America works. And it works for a lot of people. It just wouldn't work for me. Mm-hmm. I'm not trying to climb a corporate ladder. I'm not trying to work nowhere for 20 years just to get a pat on the back. And I know for some people, like my mom climbed the corporate ladder, some people, that's what they really, really want to do. Mm-hmm. That's just not what I ever wanted to do.
I just feel like we need all types of people to make the world run properly, right? And entrepreneurship is not for everyone, because, we had a conversation about this yesterday with someone, and she basically was like, what y'all do is not work. It's not a real job. And I was like,
yeah, it is.
How?
Entrepreneurship is I mean, the main difference between entrepreneurship and a corporate job is that when you figure out what you want to do, it's up to you to do it. Mm-hmm. There's no set rules. There's no set time. You got to do all that work. Mm-hmm. So when you go to corporate America, you know from this time to this time, this is the time I'm work. When I get my check, that's my money. I pay my bills. When you're an entrepreneur, all the money you make is not yours. Mm-hmm. You don't work 8 hours a day. Mm-hmm. You might work 6 hours one day. You might work 16 hours the next day. Mm-hmm. It just all depends. So to be an entrepreneur, you got to want this. This is not.
Yeah. If you don't work, easy. You don't eat.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. And then when you have kids and spouses, it's different. Entrepreneurship is different, and it is hard. And you got to hire employees when you get to a certain point. Mm-hmm. You got to trust people. Mm-hmm. You know, corporate America, they already have certain things in place that they don't have to worry about trusting you. Mm-hmm. They only give you certain amounts of access, but they already have their programs in place for years. Mm-hmm. And then they got experts that set up their security. When you're doing it on your own, you don't have all of that. So when you're giving people, like, say, access to your Shopify store, mm-hmm. you have to limit their access because you can't trust them to have full access. Mm-hmm. So that's the main difference of not getting screwed over and making sure you're spending your money correctly in order to grow your business. Being an entrepreneur is stressful.
I was gonna say, speaking of getting screwed over, we've gotten burnt so many times from, people smelling our desperation of wanting to be successful entrepreneurs. Yep. Like we in season 1 of the podcast, we talked about how, I want to say that was one of the last episodes where we kind of went on a rant basically about all of the stuff a lot of the things that we've been through and what transpired from those mishaps, right? Yeah. But people, again, it's not for everyone. There's a lot of ups, but there's a lot of downs as well. And you got to be able to get through those things without quitting. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of things may make you want to quit. One story in particular, we had our online gym is called ifyoucanmove.com. It's a great gym. It has all kinds of amazing workouts, and we worked really hard for it to be where it is today. We have an app coming very soon for it. But before, this was like a few years, this was after Peja was born. Peja's 7 now. But this was a few months after Peja was born. We were going and we were filming with this company, and we were going back and forth from Vegas to LA. I mean, we were driving every single, week, mm-hmm. pretty much. Every week we were driving.
Paying for our own hotels.
And we were filming with this production company, and he was like, okay, we got, we're going to have members sign up for your online gym. You guys will get paid. Mind you, I had just had a baby, so it was very, very difficult. We were brand new parents. We didn't know what the heck we were doing. We had just moved to Vegas, and it was just a lot of, like...
We were also new in that space as well. We knew mm-hmm. nothing about
fitness like gym. That. Yeah, we knew about fitness, but we didn't know about the online parts of it, the online business.
We didn't have our paperwork in order. There's a whole bunch of things we didn't have mm-hmm. in order. And we got taken advantage of.
We got taken advantage of big time. They had access to everything.
And we had no access.
Which was stupid, but we didn't know any better at the time, and we were very desperate to, again, be successful entrepreneurs. So we were taking any route that we could, in a fair way. Like, we aren't grimy people, you know what I'm saying? So we never thought like, oh, this person's gonna screw us over, because we didn't think like that, because we're not like that. So we expected people to be like us, and that wasn't the case. Like, we got screwed over big time. He told us that we had 200 members in the online gym when we really had 7,000 members at the time, 7,000 signups. They went and screwed up our back end of our site. We ended up taking it over. They tried to screw it. They did screw it up. They went in, and imagine if it was like, physically. Imagine you could physically see the wires of the back end of of your site. Basically, they ripped the wires, they cut them, crossed them, all kinds of things to make it as difficult as possible to use. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't usable at all. It wasn't functioning at all.
And it took us years to get to this point where our app is getting ready to drop. The site has been done over twice.
Right.
Twice. We had it redone. Mm-hmm. We had it fix the first time, which took months, and then
and lots of money that we didn't have.
But we kept having problems with it, and then we ended up having to shut it down for like, 3 months?
Longer than that.
No. When the first time we shut it down, got it redone, we're still having issues because we use the same platform, and then we shut it down for like 6 months in order to totally redo it from scratch. So all in all, that was just like this year got back up and running. So you're talking an easy 5 years it took us to get it right.
Yeah, finally. It's running beautifully now, and we do have an app coming out. But yeah, with entrepreneurship, you're gonna go through a lot of things, and a lot of things will try to discourage you, whether it be your own mind, your own fears. There'll be people that that are negative or that try to push their fears out on you.
They'll always ask you, what's your plan? What's your plan? What's your plan? Why don't you do this? Why don't you do that?
You do need a plan, though. If you're an entrepreneur, you do need some type of plan that you can execute. You can't just be like freeballing it, like especially if you have children.
But sometimes not having a plan is the best plan. You just have an idea, and now you have to fill in the blanks. To me, entrepreneurship is about creativity. That because I have this plan, that don't mean I'm going to follow it, because once I reach a certain point, I might need to go left, I might need to go right from that plan.
Right.
But most people don't understand that.
But that's okay to deviate from it if you need to, but at least have some sort of idea. Because some people, I'm saying this because some people, they be like, I want to do this, I want to do that, and then they just keep doing everything but what they,
I'm not saying don't have an overall plan.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm saying sometimes when you wing certain things in entrepreneurship, you get really good results. Sometimes you don't. But that's the thing about entrepreneurship. It's a risk any way you look at it. Whether you have a plan or not, you're going to take that risk. You're going to take that leap of faith. You're going to go out there. You're going to try to do something with whatever your idea is.
I just think that how you're saying this is a little bit dangerous for people that, hear me out, it's a little bit dangerous for people that are already struggling with discipline or already struggling with execution.
Let me clarify.
Yes.
I'm not saying don't have a plan. What I'm saying is it's okay to wing some of your plan. Entrepreneurship is about daily challenges, sometimes hourly challenges. You can't sit there and write down every challenge you're going to face. So some things you're going to have to go off the cuff, and it's not about not being disciplined. You do have to be disciplined to follow through. You have to be disciplined with your business to do the work.
Right.
What I'm saying is whatever you write down, once you get into this...
Oh, it might not go the way you planned it to go.
Likely
obviously. Right. That's true. I'm just saying have some type of idea of what you want to do. Yeah, because some people, they don't. They just know,
you can't go in with nothing.
This is what I want to end with. This is what I want. But what's your plan to get there, to that destination? You have to have some form of...
If you have nothing, then you have nothing. You still need to know what is the purpose of your company, who is your target market.
Right.
There's still things you have to do.
Right.
But what I'm saying is daily, you're going to either meet different people, you're going to come into different problems on the internet, and you're going to have to figure those out without any help. So those don't get difficult. And this may sound crazy to some people, but be wary of free help. Be wary of free help. Free help is not what you think it is when somebody say, oh, I could do this for you, and you be like, oh, how much you charge? Oh, don't worry about it. You're getting secondhand help. When you pay for something, you're obligating them to do their job. When it's free, they can do whatever they want.
Right.
There's no time constraint. You can't tell them like, hey, I need this in a week, and you're not paying them.
Right.
And if they don't finish the job, you can't be like, yo, you're not paying them nothing. But if I'm paying you, and I say I need this by Monday, then you better have it done by Monday.
And sometimes they still won't.
They still won't. Because we ran into that. How much free help we try to get? Well, somebody used to say, hey, don't worry about paying. We used to be like, yes. And then we get started with them, and it's like...
Well, that's because we didn't have anything to pay them.
Even when we did, free help just never panned out the way we wanted it to. I used to hate that.
Look, but wait, we just recently had that issue actually for meal prep.
Oh yeah, we just said no.
We were like, we'll pay you to meal prep, and she was like, no, you're gonna pay me. We were like, no, we want to pay you because it's your job, and you're doing, it's how you make your money, how you pay your bills. We want to pay you. No, Ask me how much meal prep I got. None.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, free help ain't always the best help at all. And I'm
Because
not
other
saying
things are going to
go,
be priority over what they said they were going to help you with. Most
and
of
I'm
the
not
time.
saying don't accept it. Just know you got to accept it with a grain of salt. That you might not get the results that you want.
Yeah.
This is the weirdest thing to do is entrepreneurship, and then you run into the people who say they can do something.
Man.
And those are usually the people who offer free help because they ain't never done it before, so they don't want to charge you.
Or they overcharge.
Yes.
Yeah, we've had that issue too before.
Many
where
times.
we try to, create a team and people are like, oh, it's going to be this, and that. And you're like, wait, that's a lot. But then
Producers?
you try to do it and they do not.
Oh my Lord.
They do not come through.
They'll be like, oh, and please don't start making a little bit of money. Then everything gets worse.
Yeah.
You talking about the free help and the overcharge help? Man, you got cats will come out the blue. Oh, this costs $5,000.
You're like, what?
But like,
I thought it was. It was $500.
Remember the dude that said we could come use the studio for free until he found out you was popular on social media? All of a sudden, it was $3,000 a session.
$3,000 a session. I was like, huh?
He literally said, "Oh, y'all can come use the studio whenever you want."
He did.
We called him to schedule our first session with him. And I forgot what exactly he said. How we knew he saw you on social media. He said something about your social media. And next thing you know, that came out of his mouth. Yeah, it's gonna be $3,000.
$3,000
A session. Not for like
a project.
A project. A session. I mean, just to go to the studio and record $3,000.
Right.
And I was like, okay, because we ain't going to that studio.
Yeah, that was rough. That was a rough patch in our life.
We had people charge us for introductions.
Yep.
A lot.
Yep.
We had people charge us for potential deals. If you get a deal doing this, you pay me this.
Don't let that discourage you guys. Like, don't let other people and their shenanigans discourage you, because it really can. I remember when we went out to LA, it was very discouraging. All of the promises, all of the failed attempts to, work with people.
LA a different beast, especially when you're not from there.
Right, you don't know how to operate it.
Yeah, New York is the same way.
Yeah.
Atlanta's probably the same way, but you're not from there. You don't know the people. You don't know where to go. You got to try to get away from the bottom feeders, which are the people who will always be on the bottom. They're not trying to get to the top, the middle. They're just on the bottom, and they're trying to take advantage of whoever they can take advantage of to get a check.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
I would say this: if you're trying to get into entrepreneurship, like I said, have a plan, but also a team. Try to, build a team that believes in
your vision,
the vision that you have, and that can help you execute it and take care of the people that, are trying to help you execute those things. Because it's not easy to have a team of people that you can trust and that believe in what you're doing and that is behind you, you know what I'm saying, that will push with you. So when you find those people, treat them good. Don't be a Zilla, you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, there's people that you because you get stressed, you start treating people crazy. Like, don't do that. Always operate genuinely with respect and
understand your budget. Don't be sitting there trying to act like you Bill Gates and you ain't got Bill Gates money.
Right.
Understand your budget, what you can pay, who you can pay, how much your bills are, all that stuff, and be prepared to take risks. There's no reward in entrepreneurship without risk.
Yeah.
So you got to be prepared to do that.
Be prepared to take risk, and know that if it doesn't pan out the way you want it to, what are you gonna do after that?
Yeah. What's your fallback plan? That's kind of like where we got into trouble a few times. We had one plan: go forward, and we've been broke several times.
Man. We promised ourselves we ain't going back though.
Yeah, we gotten our car repossessed. We had $30 in the bank.
33.
It's like we've been through some hardships doing this, but we took the risk. We didn't have kids at the time. After we had Peja, of course everything changed, but we still took risks.
Right.
We still took them because we had to, because going to work for somebody wasn't an option. At that point, we had been doing this together for 5 or 6 years, and it just wasn't an option to go work for somebody at that point. It's just keep pushing until we figure it out. Then even before we got to where we are now, we were getting ready to move back to LA to keep figuring it out.
Which was...
But what was our option? Our option wasn't to come here.
No.
Our option wasn't to go to New York.
No.
So we literally sat down and was like, so what city can we go to that provides us the most opportunity to get what we need? And it was LA. So we were on our way to LA, and then the pandemic hit, and it ended up being a blessing in disguise because we were going to LA pretty much broke again with 2 kids.
Not pretty much.
Credit cards maxed out.
Yeah.
You know, it was going to be rough, but we always feel like we was going to figure it out. I mean, was it the best decision? No, but honestly, we didn't really have a choice. I ask Key all the time, Key be like, it was so stupid, but I'm like, at the time, what was our choices? We had none. That was our only choice, was to go to where we thought we could make the most money.
I still think it was stupid.
It was stupid, but what? So I ask you this here and now: what other city? Because this wasn't on the map. We were leaving Atlanta. Where else could we have gone and been successful at that time?
I don't know. It just wasn't, to me, like I always keep telling you, it just wasn't smart to go with 2 kids, with the amount of money that was needed to survive in LA. Not to live good, just to survive.
So again, what was our options?
With bottom feeders and weirdos and users and crazies.
So what was the option?
I don't know, I'm telling you, but I'm
happened.
still telling you it was still stupid. It doesn't matter whether I knew the next option or not. I'm telling you, it was a dumb idea.
But if we had no other options, was it dumb?
It was still dumb, yeah.
Okay, teach his own.
It's like if somebody was in a bad relationship, they felt like that bad relationship was their only option. It doesn't mean it was the best option. It doesn't mean it wasn't stupid. It just meant that was their option at the time. It just wasn't smart. When I was 2 kids and not knowing what the heck we were going to do, we do know that we are hustlers. We work hard. We do know that. We knew we were going to make something happen. I'm just glad that, you know, we ended up staying in Houston and building what we've built and making it work.
When the pandemic started and we got stuck here, I ain't gonna lie. Even though I still thought we was moving to LA,
I didn't.
I was like, when it first happened, before everything started popping off, when it first happened, we thought it was just a wait. We were still looking at places in LA. It wasn't, I'm talking about before the lives and everything started. We was like, oh Lord, what are we gonna do with all these orders?
Right.
I'm saying the plan was, nobody thought the pandemic was gonna last that long at first.
Right.
So we thought it would be like a month or 2 and then we was gonna just head to LA. And when it first happened, I ain't gonna lie, I was happy because rent in LA is a fool. And like I said, we had 3 maxed out credit cards. Our stores weren't doing that great. So having that break.
We only had 1 store.
Yeah, we only had 1 store. Yeah, so having that break to not pay rent for a couple months was like, yes, yes. And then it was like, it just kept going. And then the orders started picking up and stuff started getting better for us. And it took me the longest to make the decision to stay here. Not that I have a problem with Houston. I just can't see myself staying in the Midwest after we already lived in Texas before.
Right.
And again, Houston was not on our list of places to be.
Right.
We literally, to us, we had New York and LA because we weren't going to go to Chicago. We weren't going to go to New York. We wasn't going to go anywhere that had horrible winters.
Right.
So it was like, we weren't going to go back to Florida and go to Miami because we just don't want to go to Florida. And so after that, when we narrowed down all the cities, we just left Atlanta, and Atlanta just wasn't the place for us. So we were sitting there like, what are we gonna do? That's how we made the decision to go back to LA.
Yeah.
And even then, we were going back and forth. Where in LA? The amount of stuff we had to go through and figure out our business and bring all of this crap with us.
Plus kids.
Risks. Mm-hmm. We was taking a huge risk moving back to LA. Let's just put it that way. It was huge. Mm-hmm. We had no plan, no viable plan. We always knew we was gonna go, we was gonna hustle, we was gonna figure it out, but there was no plan.
I'm just happy now that we have a plan. Like we have a solid situation now. Like we have solid plans, we have solid ways to execute everything, and we have been executing everything. I feel like all of those things and those risks that we've taken, all those things that we've learned, have prepared us for where we are today. And that's why we are successful at this point. Because I feel like if we hadn't gone through a lot of the things that we went through, and learned a lot of the things that we learned dealing with business, then we wouldn't be.
And looking at chain of events. When I hurt my foot, you were going through postpartum. Now, let's keep it real. This happened in 2018. If I don't hurt my foot to the extent that I hurt my foot, February 2019, we already leave Atlanta.
Right.
We're gone. So we're not going to be in Houston. We'd already been in LA.
Right.
So basically, something had to put me on my behind bad enough for us not, because even if I could limp, we would have left.
Right.
I couldn't even do that. I wasn't back on my feet till April, or at least was up in February.
Right.
She didn't care about no Atlanta. She
didn't care about
anything
at the time.
So it's like, when you look at a chain of events, I wish I didn't have to almost cut my foot off. But I know that if it was just a small injury or something, we would have been gone and we wouldn't be here now. That would have totally changed the direction of everything. So me hurting my foot, even though as bad as that was, in 2018, kept us in Atlanta for another year, which brought us to Houston in February of 2020.
Right.
And now here we are in 2021 in Houston.
With a third baby.
Yes. We had a quarantine baby.
We had a quarantine baby, which we talked about in a past episode.
Now it's a whole 5 of us. We still.
But what's dope, let me tell y'all something. This is what's really cool. I'm gonna go back a little bit. When we left home, when we left Florida, I knew that at some point I wanted to be back with my family, but I knew I had to leave there to do it.
Yeah, I never thought we would go back to Florida.
I never thought we would go back to Florida, but I knew I wanted to be back with my family because we are a very, very close family. So I think that all of those things, obviously, they led us to this point, which is really dope because most of my family work with us.
Yeah.
So,
what's crazy though is that I always thought our family would come to us.
Yeah, to California
we would make
or something. Yeah.
And then we would pay for everybody to come to us and live wherever we are, wherever that is. And it ended up being a reverse. We ended up coming back to them.
Yeah.
Which is still dope. And now, when we left Atlanta, we had 2 whole employees.
We did?
Us.
We had 2? Hilarious, because I was like, who did we have?
Us. Now, I don't even know.
So everything that everybody's doing, right? So we have Corey here. Hey, Corey.
Hey. Corey's doing my former job.
Right? Corey, I had to do all that. He does the videography.
And I was terrible. Corey's better than me.
You were pretty terrible. But you got the job done.
I got it done.
You got the job done.
I helped build a YouTube channel. I helped do all that job.
It was a struggle, y'all. Yeah. I had to threaten him one time, though.
A few times. I didn't like doing that junk.
I was like, you want to go work at Kroger? You better figure your life out.
I ain't trying to be funny. You got to have a love for them cameras. To sit there and bring all that equipment and learn the cameras and do all this crap.
With the 2 kids at the time.
I'm like,
so Kevin was doing that job.
I had to learn lighting.
He had to learn lighting. We had to go to YouTube classes. Or classes at YouTube. I was editing.
I had to learn how to use a jib, and we don't even have a jib. For those of you who don't know what a jib is, it's a piece of camera equipment. It's the crane camera equipment.
Camera that moves around.
We're going to YouTube. Well, YouTube Space had like camera classes we used to take all the time.
Yep.
We used to, because even I was about to take a post-production class, and I hate computers like that. I don't like looking at.
I did post-production class.
Yeah.
I did. I learned how to edit, and I was editing all the videos.
All of them.
And then we were also packing and shipping orders ourselves.
We did everything ourselves. Everything we're doing now.
Yeah.
And
customer service. It was a mess. But you know what? We made it happen. We made it work. That is what entrepreneurship is all about. Making it work. If you really want it, it's making it work.
And when it was just us, yes, that was of course the easiest because we could move freely. If somebody was like, and that's at the time we were living in LA, we ain't had no kids. And they'd be like, hey, can you be at this audition in an hour? Yes, of course. Can you be here in an hour, 30 minutes? Yeah, we just hop in the car, we go wherever we going. Or if I'm not with Key, I go scoop her up, we go. And then we had Pager that it changed, not much because we still were shaking. But one kid, not too bad. 2 kids, it starts getting a little harder to just move around.
Right.
3 kids, jeez. Ooh.
Another
3 kids, something else.
Yeah.
I can't even fit everything in the car.
Right. We're just grateful now at this point to have a village. Like, we do have a beautiful village, like, that our kids, you know, can grow up in, and that we can, you know, move forward and grow the companies as much as possible. So now we can expand and do what we've always wanted to do and do what we've always known that we could do, because we have a village behind us. You know what I mean? So finding people that can help you to execute that vision is really, really important. And also, you know, another thing, go with your gut.
Not all the time, but reasonably, yes. Go with your gut.
Well, I know I have amazing intuition. And when I don't go with my gut, I regret it. I regret it. We've worked with some people, and I'm like,
Work with a lot of people like that.
Something ain't right. And Kevin's like, you always. Because they always.
She don't be wrong, though.
I haven't been wrong. I remember when I first talked to Corey, I was like, yo, we've dealt with some snakes. I'm a good person. Are you dope? Are you a good person? You seem like you're a good person.
Can you do the job?
Can you do the job? Okay, cool. But yeah, we love to like welcome people in, like family. So I think before that was a flaw.
It was.
With the wrong people, it's a flaw.
Because I think coming from the South and going to LA, we're not used to people saying they can do something and not doing it.
Yeah, it's weird.
Not even that they're not doing it, they're not capable of doing it. Where we come from, people do what they say they're going to do for the most part. Not saying everybody, because again, we were in Atlanta and we ran into the same problems there. But growing up, that's how we grew up. If somebody say they're going to do something, they're at least going to bust their behind to try and do it. Move to LA with that same mentality and people straight up lie. Straight up. So depending on what city you're in or where you're moving to or what you want to do, you got to be prepared for the types of people that's there. Big cities, bunch of sharks, bunch of liars. You got to kind of wade through those waters and kind of deal with it to a certain extent, because as you try to get your feet wet, you're going to run into those issues. Especially us, we're still in the entertainment world, even though we do fitness, but we film, we do all this stuff, so it's still in the entertainment field. And when you go into entertainment, it doesn't matter what level, whether it's music, TV, it's always going to be sharks.
I would say this too, learn everything about your business.
Yourself, yes.
Learn it yourself, just in case you come across an issue with an employee or anything with your business.
Just so you know
how everything works in your business and you're never left without that knowledge, right? Like, once we had an editor that was actually a family member. It was terrible, but we had to end up firing him. He fired himself. It was weird. It was a weird situation. But luckily, I knew how to edit because he left me with, 20 days of a challenge to edit?
Mm-hmm.
And luckily, I know how to edit. I was like, wow.
I think and this
was in the middle of this was during a challenge.
I think it's good to know all the parts of your business. And even if you don't, if you hire somebody, work with them. Learn what they're doing, just in case you need to finish the job or they leave
or if something happens,
or this entrepreneur game. I'm telling you, we've had trouble trying to pay people to do the job. So it's not like just saying, oh, I got this money here and I'm trying to pay you. There's literally people you can pay and they still won't get the job done. Because we get frustrated with that. Like, we're trying to pay somebody and still having trouble finding somebody to do the job. And granted, there's how many publishers we went through?
I don't know. You need to learn your business, learn marketing for your business, learn your audience. Who are you selling this to, or who are you creating for? What do they like? Always quality. give quality. If it's not ready, if it's not quality, don't put it out yet. I'm not saying it has to be perfect, because that's the evolution of, that's the growth of an entrepreneur, right? We're gonna always grow. We're gonna always create better things, right, as we go. But if you can help it, start with the best quality that you can at that moment. You know what I mean? Don't cut corners and try to be cheap and weird, and don't be conniving with your customers. Don't use your customers. Create an actual support system with your, audience. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of people feel like, oh, I only have, 200 followers. That's fine. Like, you don't have to have a huge following to get support, to have a good amount of support. You can stay consistent. Like, there's a lot of...
Talk to the people on social media.
Talk to people. Tell them your story. Who are you? Where you come from? What's your story behind the product or behind your business? Why did you create it? What is the need for your business? Why do people need your business? Why should they care about your business? I'm trying to think of what else, like...
Well, my thing is, and this is for all entrepreneurs, but I'm going to speak directly to our people right now. We have a stigma as black people about customer service and how we treat customers. So you as an individual, especially as a black person, do better. All of us do better, because we need to get rid of that stigma that black businesses don't do good business. Because there is some, but it doesn't matter if you're white, black, Indian, Arab, everybody do bad business. But that stigma sticks with us. And then we always get this is why I don't want to do business with a black business. And our customer service is on point.
It really is.
So it's like, I don't like that. And I hate when we get emails like that as soon as, like, if somebody doesn't get their order fast enough or they don't get the response that they're looking for. It's always, this is why I don't want to do business with a black business.
Well, some stuff you can't help, though.
But I just don't like hearing it, because they don't do that to Amazon. They don't do that to Walmart.
But that's what I'm saying, babe. Some stuff you can't help. It doesn't matter. Like, for instance, pre-orders. We have issues with pre-orders, right? Because people don't read. I might say, this is going to ship out on this date. You didn't read it, so you didn't read the description, which says, please read before you buy. You didn't read that, so now you're mad because your order didn't come the next day.
It's not that people are mad. It's just that when they hit you with, this is why I don't want to do business with black businesses, but they don't do that with white businesses. The same people.
Right.
They'll allow somebody to mess up their order multiple times and never hit them with that email, but let it be a black business. I don't care what the reason is.
Right.
That's what they hit us with. And I just want that stigma to go away from black entrepreneurs, because that's why a lot of black entrepreneurs struggle, because people are wary about doing business with them.
Absolutely.
So that's all.
Yeah, so make sure that your customer service is on point. Don't be so quick to go off on people either.
Stop going off on your customers.
Don't go off on your customers.
It's not good business. I ain't saying some people don't 100% deserve it.
But look, even if they do, give them a refund and send them about their way, so they can't say, oh, such and such is super rude, their customer service is horrible, they cussed me out, blah blah blah. Everybody's gonna have their perception, but what they can't do is create something out of nothing. So you give them their refund. Thank you so much for your support. Have a great day. Send them on their way.
You want to cuss at them behind closed doors, do what you need to do. But I'm just saying, like, it needs to be done for all entrepreneurs, but it's just something that sticks with black people. Like, we just, as a group, do bad business. And I just don't think that that's the case.
No, it's not the case at all. But what does suck is, like, talking to some of the entrepreneurs, the black entrepreneurs that I know, not all of them, a lot of them are great. Like, I have some amazing entrepreneur friends that are amazing. Their products are quality. The customer service is great. They have a passion for what they're doing. It's amazing. I love to see it. But then there's some that are like, if they do this, I'm going to go off on them. It's like, no, you need to educate yourself on how to deal with your customers. You need to be patient, and you need to, like, figure out, what can I do better as a business owner?
If you feel you need to go off on everybody, you need to take a look in the mirror. Something's wrong with you. You ain't got to go off with people, because you got to remember, people are customers.
Right.
They don't know what you go through on your end to get your product.
Some of them do. Some of them care. If you tell them, like, you were sick or something like that. But even still, a lot of them do not give a crap.
Business has to keep going.
Absolutely.
You know, because when somebody purchases something, they expect their order in a certain amount of time.
Right.
Now, there's certain things you can't help. And then, of course, some people are not very intelligent, and we get hit with a lot of, oh, where's my order? I'm like, do you have a tracking number? Yes. Well, then I can't tell you where your order is, because once we give it to UPS or USPS or whoever, we have nothing to do with it. But
some of them don't even check their mailbox.
Yeah. They treat you like you're supposed to like hand deliver the order, and it's like that's not how this works.
Right.
We're not Amazon. We don't have our own like mail system. Mm-hmm. The only company I know besides USPS that has their own mail system is Amazon. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you know, granted, are you gonna have to deal with some BS as an entrepreneur?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Customers are gonna be, some of them are gonna be difficult. Mm-hmm. Some of them are gonna be annoying, but if they get to a certain point where you can't take it, just give them their money back.
Just give them their money back. Leave it alone. That's a good point, babe. Are there any other like tips that you have for people wanting to be an entrepreneur? I mean, I know like I was just saying that I want to do a webinar, but that's a whole nother situation. It's basically giving you all the gems to like how to run a business. You know what I'm saying? Like from emails, text messages, gaining the trust of your customers, your supporters, all that stuff. I want to do a webinar about that, like how to schedule your posts, the content, you know, all these different things that I want to talk about in that webinar. But like, are there other like basic tips that you want to give entrepreneurs, you know, in the same realm of what we've been talking about?
I would say balance your expectations.
Meaning? Like,
don't go in with a $200 budget expecting to make $200,000 tomorrow.
Oh. Wow.
You know, it's like you got to kind of gauge what you expect to get. What's your product? Mm-hmm. What's your market? Mm-hmm. Is it a mass market product? Is it a niche product? Mm-hmm. All of that matters in determining how much money you can make.
And I would say, too, don't be afraid to still put your product out in an oversaturated market.
Absolutely.
A lot of people, that is one of their fears as an entrepreneur. They're like, well, this person, that person, this huge company already has this person already has this, and they're super successful. How am I going to come in and be successful right behind that? Like, there's plenty of room for everybody.
Plenty. There's trillions of dollars out there.
Yeah.
That you could be a small company and make millions of dollars. Mm-hmm. You don't have to make, you don't have to be Amazon or Microsoft to make money. Mm-hmm. You can make a really good living, and your company might make $200,000, $2 million. There's so much room for companies to make money. It don't make no sense. Mm-hmm. And you might push a couple people out. Look at what Under Armour did. They came out of nowhere, and they're a prominent fitness apparel company. Yeah. When they had to go through Nike, Reebok, Adidas, and they found their space in a huge market. Mm-hmm. So it's like there's plenty of room, and then on top of that, sometimes it's just brand recognition. It doesn't have anything to do with the market. People just want to buy from you.
Yeah, that's why I said, like, get to know your customers, let them get to know you, tell your story. Who are you? Why am I following you? Or why am I supporting you? Why should I support you? You know, those things are super important.
Because if you sell clothes, somebody might be like, well, I could get this same shirt at H&M, but I'd rather spend a couple dollars more to buy it specifically from you.
Absolutely.
And I want to support you and support your business.
Right. And don't be afraid to be real with your supporters. Yeah. If you're having a hard time, be like, yo, I'm having a hard time right now. This is tough. I'm going to get through it, but, I'm dealing with this, and that right now. It's not an excuse, but I'm just, letting you guys in on a little bit of backstory of what's going on right now. So, like, I know for me, I'm super open and honest with my supporters, with our supporters. I'm super, super open, and I'm like, yo, manufacturing company is pissing me off because they're taking, 4 or 5 extra weeks to create this order because it's a big order. I get it, but I'm dealing with the backlash because they're taking forever. So I'm just letting you guys know what's going on. I'm very, very honest with everything. And that keeps the trust between us, and that makes it to where they're like, okay, I understand, that's not your fault. So I'm still support you. I'm going to still, purchase your products. And again, if it's super quality, if your products are quality, then you know that people will still support you,
Now we go to the other side.
Okay.
We talk about risk. We talk about the fact that you can go broke doing this. But there's another side to this, is planning for success. That is just as important as mitigating your risk.
Right.
Because if you become successful too quick, that can also be the downfall of your company if you don't have a plan for it.
Yep.
So it might sound crazy, but you need to know, like say for instance, our business, we know we have shipping. So we want to do all of our own shipping. So we just got our warehouse in January. I have been planning on us getting a warehouse since last July.
Yep.
What are we going to do about boxes, employees? Like, you got to start writing this stuff down.
But that's what I was telling you about a plan. But go on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, you do have a plan for success. What I'm saying is, in that plan, there might be times where you just got to be like, you know what, I got to figure this one out today.
Right.
So it's not like you can plan for everything, because honestly, when it comes to business, I don't know what's going to happen on a day-to-day, situation. We have people who work for us right now. If they get overwhelmed, we have to step in and help. You know what I mean? That's why it's like you need to know all aspects of your business. So, again, planning for success is just as important, because I tell Key all the time, when you start making some money, what you don't want to do is have all this money and nothing to do with it, because then Uncle Sam gonna have his hand out like, now you got to pay me X amount of taxes because you didn't have a plan of what to do with your profits.
Yep.
You didn't have a plan on who you were going to hire, how you were going to hire, who you just needed, period, in order to be successful. And then you get a whole bunch of success real quick. No plan going forward. Your business ends up folding because now customers don't want to buy from you anymore because you got 1,000 orders in a day and you ship 3 of them out.
Nah, not 3.
So it's like you got to kind of play both sides.
Well, we struggled with that in the earlier last year.
And I felt like we had a good plan. Our plan was not sufficient for success.
No, because it was just me and you. And we had how many orders pending? 3,000?
3,000.
Something like that. And we were just like,
It was actually 3,200. But
yeah, over 3,000 orders.
And it was just, at the time, it was just me because you were filming. And I would be up.
I was filming and I was with the babies. Yeah.
And I would be up to 3, 4 in the morning just doing orders. And that was not a good plan.
It was a horrible plan. Finally, my mom was like, yo, let me help y'all. Y'all look like you struggling so bad. We were struggling bad. Well, he was struggling really bad. Like, multiple trips to the post office.
Oh, they couldn't fit in the car.
It was just terrible. No storage space.
No.
In our homes. We took over my mom's whole upstairs. It was bad.
But then when we moved into our house, our house was literally a storage unit.
Yeah.
Garage full, loft full.
The movie room
we had
full.
a movie room that was full. We were about to take over another bedroom before we got the warehouse. And then when we pulled everything out of the house and put it in the warehouse, I couldn't believe that much stuff was in our house.
Right.
That was absolutely ridiculous.
Crazy.
That shit was, we probably have pictures when we first moved into the warehouse and how much stuff, it only came out of our house.
Right.
That shit was crazy how much stuff we had.
Yeah. Stupid. But yeah, he's right. Like, having a plan for success is just as important. We also dealt with having to pay taxes, a lot of taxes.
That was a very expensive educational situation.
That was an expensive lesson. I sat in the tub and I just stared into the abyss.
Uncle Sam don't play. Let's keep it real. If you don't have a plan on what you're gonna do, Uncle Sam don't play. And when you gotta write that check, it hurts.
It hurt bad. I literally was just like, there's nothing we can do. So there's nothing we can do.
Yeah, I kind of take a certain role with my wife because she was dwelling on it. Even though I was dwelling on it, I gotta act like I'm not. And I'm like, baby, it's cool. We got it. Just pay it and let's go.
It was
but
not
in the back
cool.
of my mind, I'm like, God damn. I want to pay all that money to them.
It wasn't cool at all.
We was trying to be like, okay, so can we invest in something? They was like, oh, it's too late.
Too late. So make a plan, y'all. Like, know what to do with your taxes.
Know what to do with if your business gets to certain points, what are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm.
Like if our company, like say our supplements, for example, blew up tomorrow, even though we would definitely have some growing pains, we have a plan of what to do if that happens.
Well, we've actually had that happen already.
We're going through the process of making that plan come to fruition now.
Mm-hmm.
But if they like really popped off, like say Walmart hit us up tomorrow, we do have a way to handle that.
Yeah.
It's going to be very expensive for us, but we can handle it, and then we have a plan on how to continue that.
Right.
So it's like, and that's just kind of something we have to do because we won't be able to handle such a large order so quickly.
Right.
But we have a plan in place that at least we can get the first order done.
Right, which me and you got to talk about actually.
Yes.
So you guys wish us luck because we do have more plans to grow our companies and stuff like that.
We have more companies coming. We are serial entrepreneurs. Like we feel like.
I'm trying to hold it.
Don't have no aneurysm over there trying to hold it. Let's see.
Yeah, we feel like even though we have 5 businesses now, we got really good people who can help us execute whatever it is we're trying to do. And then that's what's going to have us grow and we can start doing what we really want to do. Because what we're doing now, this is fun. We've been into fitness just period forever. Mm-hmm. Whether it's sports or just running on the treadmill and singing. It's always been something fitness related for us for the last, I don't know, since we was teenagers. Yeah. So that's kind of like an easy, fun thing for us to get involved with. But now we have other ideas, other creative ideas we'd like to explore. And that's going to take a little bit more execution. Mm-hmm. But we focus on what we're doing now, we'll get there and we'll be good.
Yeah. So just keep your head up when when you're going through this crazy roller coaster of entrepreneurship, and
don't be afraid of success.
Don't be afraid of success.
Success is actually
don't be afraid of mistakes.
Failure.
Don't be afraid of mistakes.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to make a mistake.
You will make mistakes.
You're gonna make them.
If you haven't done this before.
Because some people they just rather not.
Oh yeah.
Than to make a mistake. Mistakes. Yeah, you're gonna make.
It's inevitable.
Right.
But just don't make the same mistake twice.
Right. Right.
That's why I say, don't be afraid of success. And people, that might sound funny to people, but success is just as scary as failure.
Absolutely.
It's way more pressure. Like the pressure that I feel on a day-to-day basis is nothing like I felt before, because before it was just us. We only had our rent to pay, our car payment. It's just us. We ain't had no kids. So now we have to keep a roof over 3 kids' head. Now we have employees that we have to make sure every month they get paid.
Absolutely.
So it's way more pressure than just us paying our bills, because when we lived in LA and we need to hustle $1,000, we can go hustle that $1,000.
Yeah.
But now we can't go hustle $1,000 and keep this business running.
Right, that don't work.
Right. We got multiple employees, and everybody got to get paid, and a lot of people gave up really good jobs to come work with us, and we have to make sure we hold up our end of the bargain.
Absolutely.
So it's a lot of pressure when you start adding employees.
Don't fold.
Don't fold. Don't fold.
That's why I said in the beginning, entrepreneurship is not for everybody. It's definitely not for the light at heart. You know what I'm saying?
Like, the success part is scary, because then when your plan starts happening, and then you have to adjust the plan for success, it also becomes pressure sensitive.
Absolutely.
And it's like
I feel like that happened with the supplements. Like,
absolutely.
I feel like we knew that the supplements would do great, but we were like, oh wait, it's doing great. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's doing better than great. Like, what are we gonna do? How are we gonna keep up with this?
Right.
Like
we currently have a 6,000 square foot warehouse, which when we first got it, we was like, yo, this is huge. And even when you pull up, the building looks big. When you walk into the warehouse and you see how much stuff we have in there now, it's shrinking. The supplements are taking up more space than anything, and now we have to start basically preparing to get a bigger space. Mm-hmm. So now we're going to look at 25 or 30,000 square feet, which is also going to include manufacturing. Whole new business. We have no experience in it. We're going to figure it out.
Absolutely.
So it's like, that's the dope part about entrepreneurship, but we like challenges.
Right.
So manufacturing is a whole new challenge.
Yeah.
We're going to take it in stride.
Absolutely.
Like, I actually look forward to it.
Me too.
So
I'm excited. Plus, then we get to create way more items for you guys and like
faster.
We
get to, shortages, time frames, all that kind of stuff. We're doing our own supplies. We're doing everything ourselves. So it's like,
it's fun for us.
Yeah, I like the challenge. And then once we figure that out, we're lining up things that we want to do together and separately. So we have ideas that we plan on executing together. We have ideas that we want to execute separately. But that's the fun part for me. Like, so everybody's not like, some people just get in that pressure and you got a good thing going and then you fold because the pressure was too much.
Yeah.
It was like,
it is a lot though.
Because there's a lot of people that's okay being right above the bottom.
Yeah.
Just enough to be okay.
But that's the thing. There's so many different types of people.
But then there's
that
pressure from that too. Because one false move and then you can't pay your bills. True. And then you got the other side where it's too much. And now you have too much money. And now you don't know what to do with that money because, especially in our community, we're not really educated on what to do with money.
Oh no, right.
We're not educated on investments or paying employees. Should I W-2 my employees? Should I keep them as independent contractors? You got to pay health care. There's all different types of licensing. So there's a lot involved, and it's not to overwhelm people. It's just be prepared for that challenge when you start.
I was going to say, go to classes, attend courses, whether it be online or in person, but continue to learn about business, about money, about taxes, about everything that you possibly can learn.
And before you hire like a lawyer or a publicist or whatever, do your homework. Especially lawyers, they something else. But publicists are just as bad. They'll take your money and be like, I can get you on Ellen or Good Morning America, and then you give them your money and they get you a couple little boo-boo articles that nobody ever heard of. So you gotta kind of go with people that got a track record. And remember, in entrepreneurship, when they say you get what you pay for, it's real. And when you're an entrepreneur, you try and get you a really good publicist for $500, you're gonna get you a $500 publicist. Trust me. There isn't gonna be where that publicist is gonna get you on all the big blogs and all that. Not for no $500. Unless they're brand new, fresh out of college, and they hungry, and you their first client, and they trying to make a name for themselves.
Right, that's a possibility.
But don't have nobody tell you they've been doing this for 15 years and they're going to charge you $500 to be your publicist. You're going to get $500 worth of publicity. Trust me.
Right.
This is going to be on Boo Boo the Fool blog.
We had this one publicist. We couldn't get an article from her for nothing.
Nothing. No. That's not the worst, though. The worst was, so we told them we wanted some radio interviews because this publicist was supposed to be for music. And we were in Atlanta, so we were like, oh, we want to get to the radio stations and do some PR so we can move in the Atlanta radio station circles. So we go to the radio station. Now, granted, I have just Pager. It's only Pager at the time.
Nope.
It couldn't have been both because I wasn't walking.
Wait, which one? Which publicist are you talking about?
The double.
Yes.
Amari was here?
Absolutely.
Couldn't have been.
I promise you.
I was walking.
I promise you.
You sure?
I promise you. You had the stroller, remember?
Yeah, I had the stroller because I stepped in that mud.
Right, that was Amari in the stroller.
Then where was Pager?
She was either holding on or sitting. She used to sit at the little bottom of the stroller thing. I remember.
I'm actually going back and look. But either way.
The reason why I remember is because after a woman has a baby, we have only certain clothes we can fit at the time. It was a certain outfit that I could fit, but I had to alter it because it wasn't working out. So I remember. But go on.
Either way.
Go on.
We go to a big radio station. It's in downtown Atlanta. You go up on the 15th, whatever floor. However, it was high. You go up on one of the high floors, and it's like, it's a. I just don't want to put no names out there, but it's a big radio station. So we thinking okay, this legit. So I tell Keith, she about to do the interview or whatever. Well, we first pull up, there's a whole bunch of other people there. I don't know what's going on. And I got the kids, so I'm like, you know what? Our publicist is supposed to know what they're doing. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to take the girls outside. I'm going to take them for a walk because they're starting to get a little antsy and they starting to make a lot of noise. I can't tell you what went on. People have to tell you what went on. But when she was hot, when I tell you she was hot, oh, Lord. Oh, and then I asked her why she did it. And she was like, I was trying to make the best of it. It was so bad. So bad.
Yeah, it was horrible. I was mad because, first of all, it ends up being this rinky-dink talent show, basically. And I'm like, what am I doing here? First of all, second of all, because I already said first of all. Second of all, I'm in there and they're like, oh, Keaira Lashae, why am I in here with y'all? Not this,
right.
And this is not to be rude or funny. I've already done the work, right?
The other so-called artists are excited to see her.
me. I'm like, oh, God.
They're probably like, what's she doing?
Yeah, what am I doing?
They knew what they was there for. We didn't.
We didn't know.
We had no clue. I had no clue what was going on.
We did not know. They're like, everybody get in line. For what?
Keep in mind, I'm not there. Because if I'm there, I'll be like, get in line. What is this, a school trip? What's going on?
Get in line. It was the weirdest thing because I really didn't know what was going on, but I was trying to make the best of it because I remember I was going through postpartum depression, so I'm thinking like, oh, maybe I'm just thinking everything's terrible in my head, you know? So I'm trying to make the best of it, and it's literally a talent show, basically. And they're like, all right, up next, Keaira Lashae. I thought this was an interview. Like, what's going on?
I still don't know why you did that.
I don't know. It was bad. I don't know why. I wanted to fight those publicists. Like, and I'm not a violent person, but I literally wanted to fight them.
And speaking of bottom feeders and being in the entertainment world and how much BS goes on.
That's a whole other podcast.
Scenes, but we had somebody who wanted to act as a publicist also. And that was when they said, they try to hype everything up. Oh, Black Ink Crew is having this extravaganza.
I'm not dealing with you right now.
Right? Luckily, me and Key, especially Key, but we're a little wary when we hear stuff like that. And they was like, oh, it's going to be online, this and that, here's the link or whatever.
No, they did not give us the link. They sure did not. No, they gave us.
How do we find it online?
There was a flyer for it. I looked it up online. Oh, no, because I can't deal.
Even still, when they first thing was when they said it was like a Black Ink Crew type situation. I ain't trying to be funny. We don't give a damn. I don't care about what nobody else in the industry is doing if it's not for us or wasting our time. Yeah. So I don't care about name dropping and all that. Right. So we was already a little wary, and it's in a tattoo parlor.
And again, I didn't want to get dressed if I didn't have to. I just had a baby. And I can't fit nothing anyway. I just feel
like when you're doing stuff in a small space and it's music related,
it's
the sound, like we think way different. We're not like, let's just go out and do this no more. No. So I'm already thinking like, how big is this place? I don't really care if the cast and crew is there. I want to know like, how is this going to benefit us?
Right.
Luckily, we didn't pull up.
Oh, I'd have been.
She saw it home.
We would have fought.
First of all, nobody from the cast was there. Let's just start with that. Nobody from the cast.
They had little raggedy teddy bears. It was like a school drive.
The PA system was it was a PA system, not a sound system. Understand the difference. It had the little speakers on the little stands, with just two speakers. Little DJ booth. Raggedy. When I mean I'm talking about we would have drove, and keep in mind, this is probably like 30, 40 minutes from our house.
It was 47 minutes.
We would have drove down there.
Mind you, I would have had to put makeup on.
Somebody would have saw his hand. We would have drove down there. It would have been a bad situation. I would have fought the DJ. It ain't even his fault. Like somebody got to answer this
story.
Somebody got to answer for this. The point is, in entrepreneurship, be prepared.
For BS.
Be prepared. Because we start telling LA stories.
We'll do another podcast on that. Just on the shenanigans. That's what we'll call it. We're going to call it Industry Shenanigans.
Oh my Lord.
Yeah, be on the lookout for that one. I got to write that down so we don't forget. Oh, man. Yeah, we got so many stories. We will definitely talk about that.
Yeah. Industry Shenanigans is a good one.
Industry Shenanigans.
I'm glad we left LA when we did. I might not even be here right now. I might be in jail.
Ain't nobody.
No, I ain't even in jail. I'd be in prison.
Right. We'll talk about that too.
Yeah.
That'll be a part of the industry shenanigans. So now we're going to end this with... Because I don't know why. Anyways, But for now, we're going to end this with, stay encouraged. Also, find a mentor if you can.
Yes.
Or just follow people that
inspire you
to be great, or to teach you, or that teach you things about the business that you're in, or
use
just business period. Yeah.
Find people in your field that you can learn from.
Stay encouraged. Don't quit. Or, you know what? If you find that it's not for you, if you really feel like it's not for you, don't force it. Don't feel like you have to prove anything to anyone.
Don't be afraid to change your idea. Entrepreneurship, it doesn't have to be a straight line. You can go into it and figure something out that's totally different from your original idea.
Yep.
And then don't watch what other people do, but that doesn't always mean you will be able to simulate it. You need to find your way of making it happen.
Yep. So, all right, guys. We can talk about this all day long. But we may do a part 2. But we're definitely going to do the industry shenanigans. Let us know if y'all want a part 2 of this particular entrepreneurship shenanigans.
If you have questions that you want us to answer.
That we didn't. that we may have not have touched on. Let us know in our DMs or in our comment section, or even in the reviews. So leave us a review. Hopefully you like the podcast.
Hopefully. Better like it.
Leave 5 stars. We'll love you forever. Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you for watching. For those of you who are watching, we love you guys. We appreciate your support. Make sure to follow us on our Instagram at The Perfect Couple Podcast, and at Keaira Lashae, at KP _ the CEO. And thank you to our sponsors, JustMoveSupplements.com. If you're looking to up your nutrition game, make sure to check us out at JustMoveSupplements.com, a premium vegan supplement brand with proteins that taste like it came from your grandma's kitchen and energy supplements that taste like Kool-Aid. Make sure to check us out at JustMoveSupplements.com. Are you ready for a crazy transformation? Check out ifyoucanmove.com to experience a variety of fun workouts like dance, kickboxing, calisthenics, and monthly fitness challenges that get you amazing results. And don't forget to download the app.
Go to teamlashae.com for all your fitness accessory needs, from gloves to booty bands and everything in between.
Check out PejaandAmari.com for luxury and athleisure wear. Look stylish at the gym, on a date, or just hanging out.
Show your love for Black culture with sayit-loud.com, our statement brand that highlights Black excellence.
I think that's it.
Support
us. All right. We love you guys. Have a good one. Peace.